talking about well. I hope everybody out there is well and staying safe. So we will. The meeting is called to order. Our first business is to approve the August 13th minutes because we did not meet in September. I hope everybody had a chance to read those over. Are there any additions or corrections? If not, do I hear a motion for approval?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Don?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 The minutes are approved. There are no public appearances for non-agenda items. And our agenda items, we don't have any agenda items to work on today. So we'll move directly to our Senior Center Friends report.
Hey, Jim, real quickly before we move on,
Okay.
we have Linda's a new member that she's been on the board for a while. We just haven't met. So I wondered if we could just take a moment and have Linda introduce herself.
Okay.
Hi.
Linda? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Linda Gorschels. I've been on, but because of COVID and everything happening, this is the first actual face-to-face. I've been in Fitchburg for quite some time. I'm from UW. I was on the UW faculty at Fluno Center, and I'm glad to be part of this.
Good. Well, welcome. Welcome. We have a good group here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's hear from Judith on Senior Center Friends. Judith?
Yes, I think in August I told you that we were going to have dine out at Benvenuto's, and that was pretty successful, and we made $450 from it. So that was encouraging, and we're thinking possibly about doing something again with some of the local restaurants, particularly those that we've worked with in the past for our September senior events where the seniors could go out and eat and have 20% off their checks. And so we'll start with those restaurants.
Do you have a timeline for that? When you might do another one?
We're trying to get more people on the committee that works on, fundraising things. In fact, that's what I was going to talk about is this. We do have 2 new members for the Friends at this point, and it's time for us to be signing up for various committees. And I think it's one of those times when are rethinking things. And then specifically, one of the committees we're revising to possibly spend more of their time thinking about how to do various types of fundraising. So before we just supported the fundraising activities and marketing and advertising, but we're thinking of possibly changing that to have a committee that really works on new ideas for fundraising. And we also have a couple of new committees that work in terms of how to spend the money that we do fundraise. We have a finance committee, and that committee will be thinking about how we can use the funds to better help the Fitchburg Senior Center serve the senior community by being a little more proactive rather than just waiting for requests for funds and saying yes or no. Maybe we can be a little bit more proactive about using funds to help support the functions of the Fitchburg Senior Center. It's kind of been good. I think of it like my garden, that in the summer I'm so busy doing the garden things, and in the winter you can actually do the planning. And I think this year we had most of our activities were curtailed, and so we could sit around and think about how to better use our friends' to support activities.
Okay.
I think that's about it.
A quick question. Do some of your funds go to purchasing equipment for our lending closet, for like strollers, or not strollers, walkers and stuff like that?
I don't think it has, but it's certainly something that could be done, yes.
We get enough donated. It's very rare that we would go to the Friends and ask for money for durable medical equipment.
Okay. I'm just wondering, I just popped in my head because my neighbor, I didn't know about the lending closet. We told him about it, and he came over and got and borrowed a walker because he's got some real bad back problems. So it's a good service that the senior center provides. Is there anything else, Jude?
No, I think that's about it.
Okay.
And I wanted to just say about the Friends, they sponsored all of our drive-bys, which we had been having almost every month. And then along with the Benvenuto's fundraiser, we did the slice of apple pie drive-by with the rolling pin in September for National Senior Center Month. And we bought enough pies for 80 people, and like 20 minutes in, we were out of pie. So Dave went by. Yeah, it was a little stressful. Dave went back down to the rolling pin, bought 4 more pies, and then still at about 1:30, we were out of pies. And people were happy to wait in line for us to go back down to rolling pin and get more pie. So, and we set $1 just because the Friends were very generous to subsidize it. Those pies are not inexpensive at all. If you've ever bought a whole pie at the rolling pin, well worth it. But so it was very clear, $1 for a slice of apple pie from the rolling pin is a hot ticket. And so we had just enough. I actually ended up buying like 8 or 9 cupcakes, and we gave those out as well. But the folks that got the cupcakes were a family of a city employee, so they were fine. So we actually were able to serve everybody a slice of pie. I think maybe 2 people, drove out of the line, but it was snaked through the back of the parking lot. They should have had traffic control. So anyway, it was very, very successful. And again, without the Friends' support and being able to utilize their funds to do this, it would be difficult to run these sort of fundraisers or fun events through the city, just because of accounting, and it just makes more sense. And so just another great benefit of having the support of the Fitchburg Senior Center Friends. So I just wanted to say that.
Good. And the drive-bys, they are such a good idea when people are confined to home and they're trying to figure out something to do. That's really a great thing. Come and see smiling faces and get a chance to get a little treat type thing. That's really neat.
And it brings new people out too. We saw a lot of new faces that we don't normally see for the $1 pie, but then we give them a newsletter, we promote, it's sort of a marketing thing. And so it's truly a win-win. And we've been so lucky. Every drive-by, we've had perfect weather. So we've just been really lucky.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else for Judith? Anybody? If not, let's move on to Don for the Area Agency on Aging Board.
Yes, we had our first meeting of the fiscal year, I guess it would be, with our new members, and re-elected Carol Kretschmann as our chair, and then filled in empty committee appointments that were needed. The biggest issue, and I suspect Joe will elaborate on this later, but are the budget priorities in Dane County, in that we had identified as case management services, nutrition, site management, and cultural diversity as the top 3 priorities. Cultural diversity has been funded, but the case management services and site management funding is less certain at this point. As we know, there's some funding issues all around, and just be interesting to see where things fall.
Okay. I was in looking at Jill sent us all the AAA budget, and and the priorities that they had. In times like we're in right now, I'm really glad that they're focusing on cultural diversity. Helps to build the community back together, I think. Real pleased with that.
And I can just comment, the cultural diversity money, the new bridge, which is sort of the focal point in Madison that covers all of Madison, the city of Madison. They house 2 staff that are cultural diversity specialists, one for Latino older adults and one for African American older adults. So we work with these Dane County employees to help us better serve our clients in Fitchburg. And the monies that were included in the budget that the county exec already included in his budget, so we feel that they will be awarded. But those monies went to raising their salaries because, and we've had experience with this. The staff turnover is really, really high. Every year we go through almost a new employee for both the Latino and the African American older adults because they are really underpaid. And so once they get in the aging network, they might find a better paying job. And so since we've been working with the program really closely with Hispanic Bingo and support groups and stuff, we've been through 3 Latino cultural diversity specialists and 2 African American. So definitely I was in support of that because it's really hard to keep transitioning with new employees and starting over again and developing relationships. So I was happy to see that be included in the county exec's budget.
Okay. Don, one item that I'd like for hopefully that you can take back to the group. At the end of the budget proposal, there's a summary, and to me, it's always nice. It shows the various areas and what the proposed budget is. But to me, it's always nice to see what the last year's budget and the increase or decrease is. It's in the body of the letter, but it's nice in the summary to have it too. So I don't know if anybody else feels that way or not, but that's just me.
I can pass that along too, Jim, because it actually comes from legislative too. So both Don and I can pass that along.
Okay, anything else for Don? If not, let's move on to Jill's director's report.
All right. So I'm just going to just say up front, I have to be done by 9:15 because I am caring for my parents in my home, and I have to get my mom to an appointment. So if I'm talking too fast or whatever, you can slow me down, but I'll probably have to wrap it up by 9:15. So happy to see you all. Looks like everybody's well and staying well, so that's good. I'll start with programs, because we're still doing a lot. I'm happy and proud to say, the rest of the staff is holding down the fort. I'm mostly working remotely now. Lucky to have that option, so can do some stuff in the morning and at night. So program-wise, we're still doing a lot of Zooms. I know our book club is doing a regular book club and a mystery book club twice a month. We have the caregiver support that's still meeting monthly. Jim, the men's group is still meeting monthly, right?
Yep.
For Zoom. Ukulele is meeting, which I find wonderful that they're strumming together, and how they keep it in sync is amazing. If you've ever clicked on any of their YouTube videos, it's pretty fun to see. So Judy is not only facilitating a Zoom ukulele, she also started a beginner ukulele. So people can learn to play the ukulele. So she's got 2 Zooms going with that. We're working on a virtual bingo that you call in for a link, and then Dave just calls it. And how you get your prizes, I don't know yet, or how that's going to work, but it sounds fun enough. So we're advertising for that. We're working on doing a Zoom aerobics at this point. Dave is setting up Zoom Tai Chi. this morning, I think, and then we are going to allow some people to come in for Tai Chi in the Oak Hall room because we can really socially distance in that huge, huge room, and we can bring everybody in the front doors and then exit out the side door. They don't use any equipment, and it's not a cardio class, so we're not worried about heavy breathing. So we are going to pilot that, and let's see what else. Aging Mastery, that is an evidence-based program that we're hosting the first session. I think we're we're the only one in Dane County right now doing the virtual Aging Mastery program, but it covers the pillars of wellness, and we're meeting 5 weeks, and it's being facilitated by UW School of Public Health and Medicine, 2 students, pre-med students. And so they're facilitating it every week, covering a different topic. And then you have homework in between. And then you come back and talk about that topic and what your homework is. So far, so good. We're going to roll out another class on November 5th. And this is open to anybody because it's virtual. And I was really excited to see we had somebody in California, and I think they were in Arizona. They're members of the senior center, but they're in different locations now for whatever reason. But they're still getting our newsletter, and they registered, and we shipped them the materials, and so they're taking the class. So I'm glad to see people are still connected to us and reading our newsletter. So anyway, the new class is on the website. It'll go out in November's newsletter too, but so that's going really well. I know that Amy and Sarah, we did some their medication reviews. You work with the pharmacist. They bring in the clients and they look at all their medications and see what's interacting with what. Are they taking the best for whatever? And so Amy and Sarah, along with our Edgewood nursing students who are serving as our patient advocates, they did some medication reviews. I think we did about 4 down at McKee Park for some older adults. And so that's going really well. And segueing off the Edgewood nursing students, we still have those. We're working with, I think, 7 or 8 students we've done a couple telehealth visits. They have iPads thanks to the Fitchburg Senior Center Friends bought 2 iPads for us. And so the students can safely go to a client's home and set up a medical visit remotely for our clients so they don't have to go in. And those have been very successful. Certainly people aren't having as many doctor appointments, so we're using the student nurses too to do over the phone, like depression assessments or social isolation, home delivered meal assessments, as Don pointed out. The fiscal year for the county starts October 1st. And so people on programs have to be reassessed, particularly those on home delivered meals every year to see if they meet the qualifications. So our student nurses will be doing those assessments too. So keeping them busy. Hats off to Sarah and Amy, who work really closely with the nurses. Also along that line, we have a UW social work intern. Nothing like loading up your plate during COVID, and then not being able to be in the office because I'm on a little bit of leave, but I have a great staff. So our social work student is shadowing our social workers and working remotely as well, and coming in the office and doing a lot of things that we're still doing too, which is delivering meals, packaging up food, because we still really are hesitant to bring a lot of volunteers back in. So our social work intern is really just kind of part of our staff now, and we made it clear to the School of Social Work, his supervisor, this is not obviously a normal year, so his experiences are going to be a little bit different. But it also is the flair or the flavor of community social work, which is, you're down in the trenches and you're doing what needs to be done. And right now, this is what we need to have happen. So he's doing a great job. He is actually a Fitchburg police officer, and so his communication skills, his conflict resolution, his way of reporting, there's a lot of things he's bringing to the table that make it a little bit easier to supervise him, because he does have experience in terms of people skills, and that's really good to see. So we'll have him for the whole year. What else? Amy and Sarah next week October 15th is open enrollment for Medicare D plans. And we usually do a lot of those counseling to help people select their medications and then what plan will give them the best deal to cover those medications. And so they can do those either via a Zoom and do counseling, or you can come in and we will socially distance and do those face to face. Because you do have to look up a lot of stuff on the computer. So they've been taking appointments for that for clients as well. And stop me because I'm just going to keep on rolling. So if there's a question, I'm happy to take a breath. Let's see. I wrote a lot of stuff down. We resent out some marketing on the critical needs assessment, which is a link on our website, and it really is to be used for people that either have a loved one in Fitchburg that they're worried about, maybe a neighbor, anyone you might have concerns about. You fill out this form online that just says, I'm worried about so and so. They might need help with meals, social isolation issues, transportation. And so in the last 2 months, we got 2. So I was really excited about that. So people are either looking at our website or they got that information. And we are definitely finding that people are suffering from this social isolation now more. It's been, 8 months. We're seeing some of our frailer clients really struggle. We're seeing some cognition issues. We're seeing a lot of mobility issues. We had a lot of people that came on the bus every single day for lunch, and just the fact that they had to walk out of their home, walk up 3 steps on a bus, get off the bus, walk into the center, that all contributed to their health and wellness in terms of keeping them active, and many of them came to exercise class. And so without that, we're really seeing the effects of that and the impact on them. To try to really reach out to some of these clients that were regulars that really don't have anybody at home, we have opened up our senior center dining to 2 to 3 clients, 3 to 4 days a week. We're not advertising, although obviously I'm advertising right now, but that's okay. We're really focusing on those that are really struggling with social isolation. And so it's been great. We worked it out with Dane County that they are able to pick up to 2 people on the bus, keeping them socially distanced, and drop them at the center so they can have lunch just like normally and then go back home after. And we did select this past month in September those frail clients that used to come every day that really are socially isolated. And so far so good. We were working with the social workers to identify those people, and it's okay to talk about it right now. We're not, like I said, doing a big splash in any marketing or in our newsletter or anything like that. But if we want people to know, if you know of someone who's really, really struggling, has nobody else at this point to really check on them, give us a call and we'll figure out a way to connect with them. Maybe it will be the meals, maybe not. Maybe it'll be regular phone calls. We still have volunteers doing regular phone calls to some of our isolated clients. We still have some volunteers that are doing grocery shopping for our clients. So, please reach out. We'll figure out some way, because we can put as many links on our website. They're endless, to programs and services. But the most frail, a lot of them don't have that connection to the internet or online virtual Zooms or whatever classes. And so we're trying to manage both. We made some new signs. I know in the spring we did, when it first hit COVID, we did, help us help you, and call the Fitchburg Senior Center, kind of like yard signs, like for sale signs or garage sale signs. And then the other one was, we miss you. And those were putting in people's yards. And so we did another series of these signs with more of a fall theme. So you might see those out and about, just to keep reminding people that we are here to help. I would say, we're doing foot care still twice a month, and those slots are always full. And so we feel that's really a necessary service. People need that because it's really a health concern if your toenails are too long. Flu shots coming up on the 21st. We're working with Thad from Fitchburg Family Pharmacy, and it's going to be at the fire station, I think, on Lacey Road. And I'm super excited to do that. It's obviously a concern if people get the flu. And so I think that's going to be very popular. So seniors will go 9 to 11, and then it will be open to city employees, and then it'll be open to members of the community. So, you know, Thad's doing a lot of marketing through the pharmacy, and all of that information is available on our website. And there's also a link to the form. So you can fill out the form online. It goes right to the pharmacy. And so then you can skip that step when you get to the flu shot clinic. So I do encourage you to go online to our website. There's a lot of great information. Dave's doing a great job of keeping things up on there current. And some of you that have registered to receive the newsletter online might be getting some email blasts now through a different service that we're using. And Dave tries to send those out weekly just to kind of keep you connected and what's up and what's current versus once a month newsletter that you might forget to refer to. You don't know where you put it. You don't want to go online. So these email blasts are coming right to your inbox. And it's right there. You don't even have to do another click. The information just appears. And so we think this is going to be a really great tool to help promote our programs and activities and keep people informed. So if you haven't seen that, or you're interested in getting signed up for that, you just have to shoot Dave an email, and his email address is online too. So we got that going on. Let's see. Home delivered meals is still about the same. We ebb and flow with some on, some off, but we're still right around that 50 people mark with 6 routes. And we are still delivering Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, no deliveries on Wednesday at this time. It initially started because it was really hard to find that many drivers. 6 drivers a day, every single day is a lot. And my staff is driving as well oftentimes. So we're leaving Wednesdays open at this point, and it really has allowed us to do the drive-bys, the flu shots, some other things, and just a down day to kind of just keep planning. So let's see, got my long list here. The budget, so I'll circle back around to sort of what Don talked about with the county budget. I talked about the cultural diversity, and I think that funding is secured. And the other funding is for case management and nutrition. Combined with those two, we generally get about close to 90,000. At this point in time, it looks relatively secure that funding will be awarded. Certainly no other funding. And just sort of a little background, the funding for case management does come out of the general fund. It is non-mandated. It can be cut at any moment. So we are lucky that the county believes in the programs at the local level and funds those. The funding is allocated through a formula. And so, each focal point, which is what we are, or each community, you have to fill out a lot of reporting, and the formula is based on things like number of older adults. And even they break that down. Are they older adults over 80? Are they older adults over 60? Income levels, diversity, rural versus urban. So there's a whole bunch of different areas that determine that formula. And then the Dane County funding is dumped into that formula, and then that's how it's determined how much each focal point will get. And it really varies from community to community. So certainly I'm lucky to be a part of Fitchburg and be a city department. There are other focal points that are not city departments that have to do a lot of extra fundraising to make up for what the county doesn't cover. The nutrition, on the other hand, is mandated funding because it comes from Older Americans Act monies. And so when you see a call for action to reauthorize the Older Americans Act, this is a big part of it for the meals. So we have to do a lot of reporting that goes to the county, goes to the state, and then it goes to the feds that show who's eating the meals, what their income is, their diversity, that sort of thing. but that money is coming through the Older Americans Act, and the county does contribute a little bit towards that, but we're lucky to have that. So, and then in terms of my city budget, we are status quo. I pretty much submitted the same budget as last year, no increases besides maybe, just regular expenses of things that might have gone up just from cost of living things. But otherwise, it's status quo from last year. At this point, I don't feel that our senior center budget is in jeopardy of being cut dramatically at all, but we will see how that goes. The first public hearing for the city budget, which you can go online and look, it's available online at this point, is next Tuesday, October 13th at 7:30. So, if you're interested, I would encourage you to log in. You can listen, you can register to speak. I know that circling back to the seniors, our friends group, we've been talking a lot, and maybe some of you have seen or paid attention in the CIP, Community Improvement Plan. The city did include a large community center on Traceway, and they're calling it the Hub. And it's a very large building that's going to serve the community up there, and it's right across from where the new senior apartment building, the Highline, has been built. And so that's really, really exciting to see. And so the Friends group has been very interested in this project. And Bill Horns, who is a former council member, now serves on the Senior Center Friends, has been very helpful in terms of how do the Friends get more involved? How do we become more vocal to make sure that hub meets the needs of seniors, as well as all ages? And so how do we have a voice in this project now that it's been approved? And so I know that there's a few members of the Friends that are going to log on to the city council meeting for the budget hearing to just express their support of this project, and also to express their interest in being at the table. And I really appreciate that. I certainly feel like I have a seat at the table. I think that they will, ask for our opinion. But I think when it's the voices of older adults, and because you have that direct impact, it's even more powerful. And so we are going to get a PowerPoint about this project from the planning department, which I can then share with you now that it's all public. And, but I guess, just so the commission knows, I think you're going to see more about this. And I think that we're going to ask you as members to hopefully be engaged in this process, and also make sure your voice is heard in terms of what you want that hub, how you want it to serve seniors, and really just the community as a whole. I think it's a great opportunity, and it's well needed for all ages. And I think the location is great. And so, again, I will send you some information about that, and I will keep you informed about decisions that are being made and different timelines, and ways that we can advocate for that. So.
Well, I would think that Wade would be happy to
Yes.
get on our agenda.
Yeah, you're right, Dorothy. When I reached out to him about the Friends too, he said either or. He's happy to send the PowerPoint and then go ahead and get on the agenda. So I think we'll see how November looks. I know that, the project obviously has a ways to go. There's a lot of questions about how it's going to be funded, right, Dorothy? I mean, there's going to be a lot of grants, there's going to be a ton of fundraising, and I know the Friends want to be a part of that too. So, but I will, if you guys are interested, I'll reach out to Wade for the November meeting. We will need a quorum in November, because I think we will have our allocated funding from the county that the commission, you guys will need to approve. So that will be an agenda item. So we'll need a quorum in November. But I also can ask Wade if he wants to do a presentation about that hub at the November meeting, if you guys are interested. That work? Okay.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay. Awesome. All right, gosh, I really talked a ton, but there's still time for questions, so let me know if you have any questions. Bring it. Yeah, Ruth.
Jill, has the case management load increased for Amy and Sarah in the past 6-8 months? Have they seen? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say that the numbers have dramatically gone up. We certainly have had new referrals that might be slightly higher than normal, but I think what we're seeing is the clients that we have, their needs are more critical because of the social isolation, because of the lack of transportation. You know, RSVP stopped. You know, the medical rides stopped. So I think that the needs are more critical now.
Okay.
And yes, the client load has gone up, but I wouldn't say dramatically. Other questions?
Okay, anything else? Okay, Jill, looks like you made it 8 minutes early.
I'm sorry to talk so fast. You probably turn this off and go, what in the world did she say? So I will try to put this in some clear minute forms. You know, as always, reach out if you have questions about anything that I said, suggestions. Again, it's a stressful time. Who would have ever thought? I can't even. When this happened in March, had I thought, oh, you know, we're not even going to bring people in until the new year. You know, I thought that in my mind, and I also thought that was insane. But it does seem that that's now. It's so hard to keep moving that goalpost. So now we just say, you know what, the new year, we're going to hope for a better year. We're learning a lot and trying our best, but it's a hard time. It's a hard time for everybody. So again, if you have suggestions, different programs you want to see happen, ways that we can better reach out to the community. And for anyone that's watching, you have any concerns about any older adults in your area, it's not unlikely we might know them and have had contact with them in the past, and it's very easy for us to just reach out and just say, how are you doing? So give us a call. All right.
Okay. For our next meeting in November, what's the date on that second Thursday?
Oh, sorry.
12th.
Okay.
The 12th?
Yes.
Okay. So everybody will want to clear their calendar because we do have an action item for that. So,
Thank you, Jim.
okay. If there's nothing else, do I hear a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Seconded.
Second. Let
All in
Linda
favor?
have it.
Linda? Okay.
Linda? Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, well, everybody stay safe.
Yeah,
Healthy.
thank you all.
And we'll
Thank
see
you.
you in November.